Hi everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw Kamen Rider Den-O. Okay, pencils first and then Sharpies. So if you don't want to watch the pencil portion of the video where I sketch the entire thing out, look in the description and you'll find a link that you can click on that will take you to the Sharpie portion of the video. I'll even include one for color. But for those of you that are going to stick around, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch for myself and get us going. Alright, so I'm going for a jumping karate pose this time, so I gotta get the shape, I guess, the positioning first, and then I can worry about the details. But because I have him like bent over and hunched and stretched out, I have a lot of parts in front of each other, so I kind of have to throw all my lines down just to try to figure out where it's going to go, so I can draw the other lines. So I'm going to do a lot of sketching and just throwing lines out there because that's my style. That's what I do. I kind of sketch and sketch and sketch until it goes where I want it to go. And it's good practice, and also it's you know, a position like this, it wouldn't hurt to have a model, but you don't want to use the same kind of like toy because of the way the things are going to go in front of each other and bend like that, because you kind of need to know what's going to be in front and what's going to be behind. And so having a model to pose and put in this position will help, but it's not going to tell you musculature, like the knee is going to be way out here and the rest of the leg will be back behind it. You know, you see the length, but because of what's in front, you kind of have to know what's going to be behind as well. And because we know the leg sticks out like this, I got to be able to figure out where it's going to go by being foreshortened and straight at you. So that's where learning anatomy helps and will get you drawing these positions. So just like the arm, I just want to draw just that part. And this part, the shoulder is going to be, so you got to know your anatomy that, you know, because your arm is going to be back behind here and bent up, and I'm just going to make a fist. I think kind of the cool, you know, jumping in the air, concentrating, and having a fist in your hand is going to help. But yeah, because I'm going to have this arm up a little bit, and let me just throw a head in here real fast. Well, let me get some positioning right. That means this shoulder is going to be up a little higher than the other side. And that's why, again, knowing your anatomy is going to tell you where this side and that side fit higher because of where you're going to place everything. So like when you raise your arm, your deltoid goes higher, and it's about your muscles. You got to know where your muscles are going to go. So yeah, knowing the stick figure and whatnot, that's where a toy would help, or, you know, a model, but you got to know your positioning. And so that's why it helps to figure that out. So I'm doing a lot of long sketches, and here's something else we can talk about is how I actually draw, how I really do draw. I get my pencil really long. I'm reaching from the back here. It's just, it feels more comfortable for me. And like if I had a like a longer pencil, like this. Oops, hang on. I think I bumped the camera. Yeah, let me straighten it out real fast. Okay, that's about right. Sorry about that. So if I had a longer pencil, I'd be back in the back like this, like further away, not super close. That's not how I draw, not up close like this. So that's why I like to just have my pencil kind of further away from me, I guess. And that's also why I need this little extender, because this pencil's running out and I'm not quite ready to give up on the pencil yet. So I have to extend my pencil with the little extender here, a little metal piece, just to make it fit better so I can draw it out, or so I can hold it better while I'm drawing. All right, so add just a little more detail. So now that I have the positioning, I can add a little bit of extra detail here. And let me check my picture. Because everything's going to fit in this this position, where I want to put it. Let me double check. Okay, so I just wanted to see where his head's going to be, because I don't have him in this position. I just have pictures, and I have to figure out the detail at this position. But they've got some pretty good pictures, so I can figure it out. And for the most part, we're going to get the idea anyway. So, like his chest piece here, it's very unique. It's very stylized, and it's going to help us for the positioning too, because I can show the angle he's at, because of it's not round. It's kind of got this flat edge to it, and it's an easy way to show where he's going for the overall picture by the way it is. So from the side and the angle, I can determine where I'm putting him and to what details I can place. All right, so now I'm just going to work on the arm. I'm just going to basically add that's the nice thing about this. A lot of the Kamen Riders, honestly, is they have armor over suits, which are cloth. And so basically, all I got to worry about is the armor, the smaller pieces, and then I can add all the creases and folds like I like to put in all of my drawings. All right, and then for hands, I'm just going to do simple, like a fist over here, since the other one was more straight, because he's more concentrated on his legs. He's kicking. So I'm just going to do a simple fist. And this one over here, this arm, or this hand, I'm going to stretch out into just a simple karate hand. But also because I have him bent over, there's, like I said, what I was saying with the legs is there's certain parts you can see, certain parts you can't. And his legs are going to be in front of a lot of this belt, or, his extra belt stuff. So I'm just going to draw what I can see, so to speak. And so there's this costume's got some really cool design, but again, like I said, it's a lot of cloth, and color will take care of a lot of that. So this armor piece, like this, is all I really have to worry about, and the rest I can do with fun bends and folds. Right. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, just a straight hand out this way, because he's got a fist and hand out, just simple, because he's more concentrating on his kick, his kick out with his leg. And that's where we're going to concentrate the more of the shading and lines. But yeah, but like I said, so since he's kicking out and his legs are stretched, he's going to really put a lot of stress on this part of his pants. So we get to really go crazy with the creases and folds. You know how I like to do. All right. And we're just going to do some simple boots. And because of the foreshortening, this leg's going to be out straight at you. But I'm putting it out just a little bit of an angle so you can see that there's a leg there. Like this length of the leg is basically what you're looking at, but foreshortened. So I just have to add just extra detail to show that there it's straight and this one's right at you. So now I just gotta, well, that puts a little far out. Let me erase that real quick. And that's one thing I try to get everybody to do is don't feel just because you sketched it you got to keep going. Move, change, do what you got to do. I'm a big believer in don't let your past dictate your future. You can change, Just because you did it doesn't mean you got to stick with it. You got an eraser. That's what it's for. All right, so this foot's going to be pointed, kicking straight out, because that's the power kick. That's where he's shoving all his force. So, all right, so we're almost there. It's looking pretty good to me. Let me straighten this out a little, extend this out a little bit. But it's looking pretty good to me. I think I'm about ready. We'll welcome everybody who skipped to this portion, because not everybody watches the drawing portion. So let me erase some of these darker lines. I'm sorry, the faint lines, and keep some of the darker lines. So as I got more confident, my lines got darker. My lines got harder, pressed harder, and that's what's going to stay. The sketches, the quick sketches of trying to get there, those are faint. Those will disappear real fast. And I don't need those anyway. I just need the darker lines to guide me with the Sharpie, because I need my confidence lines and not the sketchy lines. Always work with confidence, kids. Don't worry about sketchiness. All right. That's looking pretty good. I gotta be careful not to go too far, but I think, yeah. And if you're working with pencil, you just draw darker. You don't have to erase like this. All right, looking good, looking good. So I say we welcome skippers, welcome to the Sharpie portion of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I do a different drawing every day. You can join along and have some fun. I'm going to be using a Sharpie fine point and Sharpie pen, mostly the fine point, but the pen's a little finer than the fine point. You can find things that fine point can't quite find. So I've erased the entire thing, and I've left myself a small faint ghost of an image that I can draw and trace over, and that will guide me with my Sharpies. And normally I use the Sharpie pen, but I think I'm going to use the Sharpie fine point first to guide me with the eyes, because the eyes are kind of big and bulging. I want those first, and then I'll come back with the Sharpie pen for the finer details. So yeah, so let's do the Sharpie fine point, and then I'll come back with the Sharpie pen. Yeah. Okay, that's gonna work out. That's gonna work out, because normally I do the eyes with the pen, but there's no eyes, right? So I just get to do is cool little teardrop looking eyes like this. All right, okay. And then I'm gonna do the other one, kind of like this. Cool. All right. Okay, that looks great. That's awesome. So now I think I'll come back with the Sharpie pen and add a little bit of extra detail, because I can't quite get fine detail with that Sharpie fine point, even though it's called a fine point, right? So there's the top of his head, and then he's got this middle piece here. And again, I want to do this with a Sharpie pen just to get these fine points. All right. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of the piping for that centerpiece, just kind of down the middle, or down along the side like this. Okay. One more on the other side. Like that. Okay. Cool. All right. And let's see. Let's add his little antenna, right? Just because it'll be a nice subtle contrast of thick and thin. See how thick those eyes are? It's a nice contrast to get a line width like this. All right. Okay, so there. That's going to help with the way that looks. So I think, let's see, I'm going to add some of the ear wing thing with the big Sharpie fine point, again, just to make it stand out, and then I'll add finer detail in a bit. But I think this is going to work out better for the overall look. Right? And there's the back of the head. We can't see much from that angle, so let's add some of the mouth details with the Sharpie pen again. And again, just a little bit like this, just to highlight the front of it, and then we'll come back with a big Sharpie fine point for the rest of it. Okay, and again, I'm just capturing just a little bit of the look. And I'm going to thicken up some of this because I want it to look good. And I'm just going to draw the lines across, and it's okay if it's not perfect, you know, it's getting the idea first. All right. Let's go ahead and switch back to the Sharpie fine point, and now I can work with the rest of it. Well, okay, not the rest of it, but concentrate on the Sharpie fine point, and then I'll come back with finer detail for the Sharpie pen. But since I'm moving into the rest of the head, it kind of works together, and I can make it all cohesive now. So I've got his neck bent, so you can only see so much of his neck, but I can see his collar piece like this. And that's kind of over the front, so you can't see as much of the neck, basically. So his chest piece is what we'll do first. And I'm just going to come over here and do the shoulder. Add a little bump for the detail, and then I'm going to come back around, and there are, right here, there are some very cool fine details that I want to add to the smaller Sharpie. So let me add just a little bit of a start-stop point, so to speak, and then I can just give it basically the outline to give myself start-stop points for the rest of it, and add some little bit of extra for the Sharpie fine point. So let me switch over to that. I'm going to show you the specific little details that there's some cool little details here that I want to capture with the Sharpie fine point, and keep it all looking really good. And like I said, it kind of looks good with a nice contrast. You know, it doesn't have to be specific. It's not like it's going to be misunderstood or misinterpreted if we don't do it right, but I think it looks good as a nice contrast to each other. Especially with so many thick lines that the big Sharpie is going to do. This will help kind of differentiate and make it stand out. And you notice I'm not touching everything on this one. That's because I'm trying to imply an edge, and it doesn't have to be specific. It just has to imply something, and the color will take care of the rest and make it really stand out. Okay, so there's an edge there. We're going to do something like that. And so like I said, this doesn't have to be specific. You don't have to get super detailed, like all the specifics of it. I just wanted to highlight a few things, basically. So we'll go thicker with this one to show the indentation right there. Same thing here on this side. We'll just kind of go a little bit thicker. Not as thick as that one, but not as thin as that one. Just to kind of highlight that there's something else there. Alright. So all those lines going through, I'm going to do that with color. I'm not worried about that. Like I said, I just wanted to highlight that look. Okay, so the way I have it, I kind of have to do that arm last because it's kind of going underneath his legs. So let's do his arm here. There's the edge of his chest. A little piping of the detail inside his suit, kind of like this. Okay. And so I can do his arms. So I can now go ahead and draw his shoulder piece. And then into his bicep, into his elbow, and then he's got like a covering on this part of the arm, so it's going to come around like this, and it's flat, and it goes to the wrist, then comes back over here, almost like an arm guard kind of thing. So it's a nice smooth piece. For the arm here, we're going to kind of do some creases and folds to show that it's material. Come in here, do the same thing. Same thing. This is all cloth material up into here, like that. And I'm going to add some creases and folds there in a second. I just wanted to draw the connecting pieces. His hand, I'm just going to have out like this, kind of it's not as concentrated on as his feet because he's kicking. So I'm just going to draw his hand like normal, like this. First finger like this. Middle finger's a little bit longer. And that's pretty much all we're going to see. I can kind of do another one like that, but the pinky is back behind so we can't see anything else. Okay, so let me add some creases and folds just to make it come alive, you know? And you don't have to do the exact same lines I'm doing, so don't feel bad if you don't. I just do this because it kind of makes it look like it's what do you call it? Bent material. And that's all you're really going for, so don't worry about if it's not exact. You're just going for a crease in the material because it's cloth. This is armor, that's cloth. And so I kind of like to highlight that it's a piece that's bent. So, okay, so I'm going to keep going with his body. I'm going to draw his chest down to his belt. This one's all crunched in because he's crunching his abs, so he's bent in a little. So, we're going to draw the belt right here. And so what I was saying with that is you can only see certain parts because he's all crunched over. Okay. And same thing, this leg is in front of the rest of his body, so we kind of have to draw certain parts first and then we can draw the rest. So let me add a little bit of detail to his belt here. And I say this in all of them that unfortunately I don't have one of these, so I'm just kind of going by pictures and hoping I'm right. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. It's gonna happen. Okay, so like I said, before I do anything else, let me draw his waist and his legs, and then I can draw what's behind everything there. So, because I've got his leg, this one's up, this one's out, we're going to draw, let's see, his crotch is going to be bent like this, a lot of creases and folds, and then his leg is going to be up like this, over to his knee, okay? Like that. So, now that I have this line, instead of going with the knee, I'll go ahead and draw what I can see. So see what I'm saying? How this leg is in front of the rest of his belt? So we can only see so much. That's what I wanted to do, is make sure I drew the parts in front first, so when you draw the parts in back, you're allowing yourself what you can see and what you can't see. So, also, unfortunately, that means there's only certain parts we can see of the rest of his belt, like all of his weapons right here. It's being covered up by his legs, so we can't quite see everything. But no big deal. Okay, so I'm going to draw his knee right here. So I'm going to draw his little knee pad, or his little knee piece, because it's like a very specific, like flip joint type kind of piece. Again, just going by pictures, so that's all I can do is make it look like what I see here. Here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw this leg since we're here, and then we'll come back. So I'm going to draw this, and see how it's bent towards you? Here's his boot. Okay, so does this make sense now? Let me draw the rest of the boot and you'll see what I'm talking about. Coming down like this, and the toe is going to be pointed down. Like that. Like that, okay? So, I'm going to draw a couple little details here so you can see where we are. There's some bends like that. There's the front of his foot. There's where the toe is, but see how it's not pointed at, just kind of bended straight down like that. That's kind of giving the illusion of the positioning that we're putting him in. So again, I'm going to draw a lot of creases and folds here because his pants are really stretched to the limit here. So there you go. Alright, so that's going to be able to bring his leg out here, kicked out. So now we can put his crotch like this. Again, more creases and folds from the way it's all bending the material. And then I'm going to draw his leg, okay? So, I'm going to draw to his knee. Like this, the back of his leg. Going to come down here and go in there. And now we're going to do basically the knee pad and the boot, all that, but from the side view because of the way it's kicked out. So, like this. Again, some creases, bends where the knee is because you know there's a lot of bends right there. And then the boot out. So, I'm going to draw flat end of the boot. Like this. Again, I'm going to add some creases and folds in a second. We're just basically getting the basic of the outline. Now his foot is kind of out like this. So that means if this was his foot, let me see, if this is his foot, they're bending out, so we're going to get a lot of creases right here at the boot, and this is going to be a little smoother. So I'm going to bend it like this, smooth that out to the toe, like this, bring it in, draw that heel, and give him a little bit of a heel like that. I guess we got to draw a little bit down there too, huh? Okay, so now that's done, I'm going to add some detail. So a lot of bends right here to show that it's really stressed out. You know, it's really bent. And though there's a lot of bends in this cloth right here, I'm just going to add a little like that because it's not as stressed out as this part. This is all flat and straight out. But again, it's cloth, so we can kind of add a little extra, you know. All right. And there we go. So there, I'm adding a lot of bends here because again, there's a lot of stress put on this part of the pants because there's so much going on right there. Okay, so last thing we're going to do is finally that arm. So the arm is behind this leg. That's why I wanted to draw it first. And it's going to be pretty simple. It's pretty much what we did over here. But, oh, you know what? And he's got both things on both sides. So let me add a little bit of here in this thing. Whatever this is, part of his belt toy thing here. I can do it on that side, which again is also in front of his arm. So it helps that we did this first. So his arm, we're just going to draw the shoulder like this down to his forearm. I can draw the back of his arm. And so see, now that we can draw all this behind it, it's going to make more sense and look better. There's his forearm, and I'm drawing this part right there, basically. Like that. So see, it helps to plan out so you can do all this right. Let me add some detail in a second, but let me add his fist. I just have his hand just up in a regular old fist, ready to fight. Let's see, the thumb is in front with those fingers. Okay, again, just wanted to add the basics, and then we're going to come back with the detail to really make it shine. Alright, again, some creases and folds, bends in his material. Bends in his hand. We'll draw like the knuckle line to really make it stand out as to, you know, where the fronts are. Okay, and he's got a little line right here too because of the look of the glove. And there you go. So there, I say we take care of the rest with color. So that is Kamen Rider Den-O. So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.